Hey, yo, we are back. This is AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs, and as always, I am joined by AIW owner John Thorne. What's up, Thorne?
I am here, mentally prepared to podcast.
Yeah, so skipped a week last week. We had some things to take care of. A little bit stuff going on, but we're back again. How was your week?
Oh, boy. Well, not great. I will say that scheduling my first, doctor's appointment pretty much since I had pneumonia, just so, happens, coincidentally to be the Monday after JLIT weekend was probably not the best thing for me to do.
Yes.
They said a lot of things that I didn't want to hear, pretty much stress-related things and, pretty much you got to make some changes or this stress is going to kill you. So
he's saying maybe booking a doctor's appointment / kind of physical overall checkup maybe wasn't the best the day after you had to plan and run a 2-day stressful show, the most stressful show of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, and with just all the stress that came with it all. So, yeah. I was like, you know what, I don't even fucking, honestly, I was like, I don't even fucking feel like podcasting right now. I think, it's never good when you have that fucking, that's why I don't go to the doctor, but
right.
When you go and you get that fucking, hey, here's your reality, it's a lot to handle. So I took the week and there was a lot of other shit that went on, more fallout from JLIT, throughout last week, which just added to the stress to everybody. So, it's just not for, I guess, A, to try to de-stress myself, and B, to not say a lot of things maybe I would regret. I decided that we should probably not press record last week.
Take a little break so as to to not say things you don't want to reveal or whatever in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of heat of the moment going on last week. I'll say that.
Well, we talked about kind of the stress, what you deal with and what you have to deal with, going into a show. We don't really talk too much about the kind of fallout after the shows. We always kind of have on to the next one. That's kind of the mentality. But, there is sometimes there is some things that you have to deal with, post-show. I don't know how much you want to get into, but, you got into it with me a little bit. You were telling me some of the things, and it's like, it's one thing to have to deal with stress of people calling off or canceling and injuries happening, stuff like that going into it. When you feel like you ran a successful show and then you have problems on the back end, that's got to be tough to deal with.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it was just it was a lot. Obviously, night one fell well under expectations. You know what I mean? And then there's just the pressure is on for Saturday, but it's like I was saying, if we did not do well, things were going to change, and we did not do well, and things are changing, and dealing with that fallout is a lot of stress. Not a lot of people there, not a lot of people drinking, not a lot of what the venue's expectation was of us, being in that big space.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tough conversations had, throughout the weekend, after the weekend. And I really don't know where we're at, honestly. Then of course, there was fallout over blood and, our crew not cleaning said blood properly, there was just a lot that went wrong that I guess, it just made me realize, like, I gotta stay, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta stay there and I gotta, go over this shit, you know what I mean? Like a supervisor or something, I put a lot of trust in the crew to, I said, this and this, and, I was told, no problem. That everybody afterwards was like, yeah, it's all good. And then, I got a phone call on Tuesday and it was not all good, so it's just, it was a lot of, just tumultuous, turbulence, I'll say, more than tumultuous. Like, it's just very turbulent, week last week.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's, it's a 2-day thing and there's just a lot going on. It's unfortunately seemed like things maybe slipped through the cracks on the way out on the second day. It's unfortunate, but that's the problem is. And the tough thing about it, like we talked about, is it kind of all just falls to your shoulders. You're the one that's got to,
right. Like, it's, my name's on the contract. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, so-and-so who didn't do the job. You know what I mean? It's me that gets it. Right. And my reputation and, obviously, like, these venues all work together in a way, you know what I mean? So it's just made us look like fucking total assholes, and like, we didn't deliver our end of the bargain. Obviously Saturday was better than Friday, but when you miss that Friday goal, you know what I mean? It's just more, it's just like you're like walking uphill in a snowstorm at that point, like, it's just, it's nearly impossible to hit your mark when, you've missed the mark on an entire day, you know what I mean? So it's just, it's just, it was tough. And then, on top of just, like, something has gone wrong every time that we've been there. And, the attendance and the crowd and, you know what I mean, the volume of alcohol has kind of bailed us out. Mm-hmm. But when you don't have that, like, there's no bailing it out. It's just, well, hey, you know what, this was cool, but, this and this is wrong. And, like, you have there's no response to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't know what to say back. At that point, it's tough. You definitely puts your back against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to sit there and take your medicine, so to speak, Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. With, the alcohol thing was kind of surprising. I thought we had a decent crowd there.
I just, it's just, it is, it's live event pricing, which I'm sure turns some people off in our fan base. But it is what it is, like it's when there's more people there, even if you're drinking less, there's more people there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So it was just a pretty bad week. Like, bad 2 weeks, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of knew where the cards were going to fall on the week of JLIT. So that was very stressful. And then last week was just even more stressful. So, and then I also had to do the taxes for the company and all that stuff because we file in the fall. So that was even worse. So it was just a very, very stressful week. These are the unfun things about being a wrestling promoter, company, whatever you want to call it. It was just like, I knew sooner or later that, our number was going to get called and it wasn't going to fucking go well. We've been on such like a run, and like, yeah, it happened, last weekend. So, hopefully we can bounce back. That's all I gotta say.
It's a tough 1-2 punch coming out of one of the more expensive shows that we run. I mean, it's got to probably be the most expensive. It's 2 days, dude. You know what I mean? It's not cheap. And then to have the taxes hit too, it's that's a tough 1-2 punch for sure.
Yeah,
probably doesn't get you in the best of mood, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, you just go, wow, like that's a lot. That's a lot of money going out and not a lot coming in. It's just I don't know. It's just we have to figure something out. Obviously that. So we have to change. We just have to change some things, probably. I honestly I've never wanted to just wrap it up more than I did last week. I'm not going to do that, but I was at that. You know what I mean? I was at that point to where I was like, fuck it. Fuck it. And it's just when Kingston pulled off, and there's not a lot of notice, there's not a lot of options, and I'm spending a lot of money knowing that people are still going to be pissed. I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, it's just but I wanted to try to give something, and it's just, I don't know. It was a very defeating 2 weeks, I'll say that. But we're powering through. I'm going to see, if I can smooth things over, because obviously not a lot of options, right?
Venue wise, right. Yeah. I mean,
right. And,
it's a pretty extensive search to find that one and to get into that building,
and even the Shrine, man, if, it's gotten very expensive, it's just, there's a lot, it's just, I don't know. It just seemed like the last 2 weeks, it just seemed like the walls were closing in on me a little bit. So again, not the best time to go be like, hey doc, once you've run every fucking test you want to run on a human,
right.
Just give me the works. And then whoa, hold on. You got to come back.
We're going to need to check some things out on you, sir.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck. But, here we are. Back on the pod.
Yeah, here we are. Another therapy session with John Thorin. This is what I'm here for, get it all out, because we do have another show coming up October 7th, Saturday, October 7th at the Tadmor Shrine. We're bringing the Boogeyman with us, AIW's Boogie Nights. That is one that I can't wait for.
And Ultimo Dragon.
And Ultimo Dragon. I was going to say I didn't even get to the other guests yet, but I know a certain somebody out there has been waiting for this guest to be booked for a long time. Young Ed is foaming at the mouth for this one. But we're also bringing Ultimo Dragon. So I mean, you got two giant names on this show to the Akron crowd.
We obviously booked this show thinking JLIT was going to do well. So
yeah, I was just going to say we go from JLIT being one of the more expensive shows that we do on the weekend into the taxes, just taking that 1-2 uppercut back to back, and then you book a guy like Ultimo Dragon, who I know is not cheap, and I also know that Boogeyman is not cheap, because I know that you've kind of tried to do this before and throw this around, and his fee has just kind of been up there, and other times it wasn't as feasible. So, with the Halloween time coming up, you kind of bit the bullet and spent the money. And, it was definitely tough after coming off those 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah, it was not great.
So let's get out there. Let's get these tickets. This is an Eventbrite event at the Tadmor Shrine, right? Ticketmaster's only for the temple.
Yeah.
So let's get to the Eventbrite. Get those tickets. Buy up that premium seating. You want to be up close and personal when the Boogeyman comes. You never know. Maybe he'll make you eat a worm in the front row. You know what I'm saying? You never know. So
we also have Zaya Brookside making her AIW debut. Got a couple other things cooking. I know I've been on the podcast. I've been teasing the big thing for Hell on Earth, which again was in the fucking kind of in the process before we reached JLIT weekend. Now, I'm kind of stuck and I've reached the point of no return because it just officially got confirmed, like literally right before we recorded.
Let's go.
So, yeah,
that's a hefty one because you told me who it is, and that is a hefty fee, my man.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucked.
I will say it again. Get to Eventbrite. Get those Boogie Nights tickets, the Tadmor Shrine, because we need to pack the house in the Tadmor for what we're cooking up for Hell on Earth. Because oh boy, yeah, make sure you get to Boogie Nights, support, buy some merch, buy some shirts, buy some 8x10s, all that type of stuff. Spend some money at the AIW table. Because despite just taking hit after hit financially, John Thorne is throwing the gauntlet down, man, and he's bringing in a big one for Hell on Earth. So do us a favor, do AIW a favor, get out there. I know a lot of people just spend a lot of money at JLIT. It was a 2-day, 3-show, event. But we're asking you again, come on out.
I do want to thank everybody that did come out. You know what I mean? Like, the second day really did, it really did help us tremendously. You know what I mean? Fresh Meat and Night 2 both did much better than Night 1, and I don't want to gloss over that. You know what I mean?
No.
Because, everyone that did come out and support, like, we're so thankful. And, like, honestly, like, Saturday we were like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, we may have squeaked this out, to an extent, right? Like, it was going to be a loss, but, like, Saturday really, like, it really softened the blow, so to speak, of the weekend, as far as... Go ahead.
I know, well, because I was just going to say, because I know when we were leaving Saturday, you were saying, it wasn't as great as it attended as we wanted to, but it wasn't a death blow to us and to the company. And as far as like with the venue, they weren't like, our best friends, but they weren't like, hey, we hate you, and then you get that phone call on Tuesday and it's like really damning, you know what I mean? It's like we were in a place that was like not, the greatest, but we weren't down in the dumps either. And then, prior to that phone call. So it's like, man, it's just disheartening.
Right. And it was, things looked, like I'll say this, no matter how you feel about it, you have to thank all of the Fresh Meat kids, because without Fresh Meat, we are, I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know that we could even do 10-7, honestly. Like Fresh Meat really, like those kids did their best to bring in new fans, you know what I mean? Friends and family, all that stuff. And like, it was a nice sized crowd. Not a lot of regular fans there. But with them bringing in that like additional stream, like that helped us so much, you know what I mean? Kind of, knock off a bunch of, because we were in deep, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like it was so bad Friday night. They're like, we're not even going to email you a ticket manifest. You'll be able to figure it all out, like when they get here, like, and we're just like, fuck, like,
that's not good for anyone who doesn't understand that lingo. Basically what that's saying is, you have so little amount of people here coming here that you don't really need to pre-plan for it. You'll just seat them when they get here.
Right. Like you can walk everybody to their seats individually, essentially. It's like the vibe that we got.
Yeah.
So, it was not good, right? But Fresh Meat, and Night 2 did so much better than Night 1. And it's just like, so we were in a pretty decent mood Saturday. You know what I mean? Like when because we have to have like a meeting, which God bless Pedro, man, because like I'm like he goes like he's like my buffer on a lot of things, so like he goes and feels it out, and then because I was avoiding the guy, I was trying to avoid the venue guy as much as possible. And then he's like, well, like, and then we have the, kind of the end of the night meeting, and, they essentially have to pay us because all the money filters through Ticketmaster. And then we go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, this is better than we expected,
Right.
like, which is a whole other thing that I don't think people realize is like, we have to have all that money up front for everybody. Because, like, we get a check, so it's like, it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like clearing out, like clearing out the check and floating the company. So, so to speak,
right.
Stuff. But things were like, oh, okay. Like this could have been way worse, cause like, I mean, the Friday numbers were atrocious. So, fresh meat saved it, and Saturday it did much better, so we were thinking it was pretty good, and then like we just got a bad phone call on Tuesday, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, the fresh meat kids, you really got to pat them on the back a little bit. They definitely brought in, I know Shelby had a ton of people, Tyler Jordan had a ton of people. There was a lot of people. All the students, as far as I know, brought people in there, but
right.
It was packed.
Yeah, I mean,
Zay had a ton of people, family members. I know Zay had a huge cheering section.
Right. I mean, him and Tyler Jordan, I think, and Shelby Wild. I mean, they all brought somebody, but like those three, you could tell. You know what I mean? Like, Nipsey had a good amount. KRKD had some people. I don't know if Cool Ass Andy had anybody, but
he said something that wasn't. They said nobody came out to see Cool Ass Andy. That is not cool. And I said, you know what? That's not cool. Cool Ass Andy.
But yeah, I mean, thankfully to all of them, and a couple of them are going to get a shot on 10-7 because of that. You know what I mean? Like that stuff like that helps. And like, and it's not like they didn't deliver, and I think all of them have a ton of potential. You know what I mean? All 7 that debuted.
Yeah, I mean that was they all had some great matches. There was a lot to talk about at that, but one thing I will say was locker room sellout for Cool Ass Andy. I mean that was what a debut. If you didn't come to Fresh Meat, it's definitely going to be worth checking out on Fight TV because man, Cool Ass Andy. That was some legendary AIW stuff. There's been some legendary things that have happened in AIW, and that was a moment I was glad to be there for. That is for sure.
Yeah, one day maybe I'll do a Patreon podcast and really get into the depths of the Cool Ass Andy thing, because there's more to that than meets the eye. But maybe I won't. Maybe I don't want to kill the mystique of it all.
Yeah. You know what's cool? Mystery. Mystery's cool.
Mystery is pretty cool.
But yes, coming up though, I didn't get a chance to say it. You said it for me though. The Zaya Brookside is going to be on our 10-7 show. That's just another thing again. We get a lot of questions about the women's division. That type of stuff. Another brand new, face coming into AIW. Another AIW women's debut. A big name coming back into the Indies. And it's what the fans are asking for. And again, I can't imagine she was very cheap at all, because I know you've said that the women's talent does not come cheap at all. There's a very much smaller talent pool, so the fees are much higher. And the levels that some of these performers are at, the talent fee is much higher. And here you go after these very expensive shows, we're bringing in, big women's name, Ultimo Dragon, Zaya Brookside, like I said, women's name, you're bringing in Boogeyman. Yeah, it's just like, you're really pulling out all the stops here.
Yeah, well, maybe there should be like a few weeks buffer after, if we do the JLIT again next year, like... I can assess the damage instead of like just being, that's what sucks about being organized and having dates, you know what I mean, set up. Like we have we have like a shit ton, like we have a shit ton of 2024 dates already,
Right.
Like, well, we did, so it's like, fuck. I don't know, man. But yeah, it was a pretty bad week. I don't want to be all doom and gloom about it, but we're in too deep already on 10-7, so let's fucking. I guess wrestling likes those gambling terms, so I guess we're gonna double down, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know what, though? It's the Tadmore. It's a venue that everyone loves. Free parking. Come on out. They're not going to start charging for parking at the Tadmore. So just, come on. Let's have a good time. Maybe do some barbecue in the parking lot prior. We got a great card. I already saw one of the matches announced, the 6-way scramble, featuring some of these names that just came out of Fresh Meat 3. You got Shelby Wilder on there. Tyler Jordan's on that one. One of the members from Latino's Most Wanted going to be in that scramble. I can't
Hernandez,
think. Yeah, Hernandez. I was gonna say I couldn't think of his first name, but yeah, I mean the Vic Weiss in that one. Arcadia's in there. This is gonna be a wild match. I think I'm forgetting one person. Shit, now I gotta pull it up because I'm definitely forgetting somebody.
Shelby Wilder, Tyler Jordan.
Dex Royal coming back. That was who I was thinking. Dex Royal coming back. That's another name that I enjoyed a lot. We saw him debut in Wadsworth, and then he came back for the JLIT. I thought was very impressive. That's going to be a hell of a 6-way.
He fucking did a Jody Fleiss shooting star to the floor on night.
To the floor. That's what I said. Dude, the guy's fucking crazy. I love it.
On a just Colin Delaney.
That's what we all said. We go, that was a brave move to just one man on the outside. I trust Colin to do what needs to be done there. Colin's an absolute pro. But that takes some stone balls, man, to do that move to the floor with just one person down there.
Oh yeah, I mean this dude is fearless. But yeah, that was some of the shit that people missed on night one. Like this dude, again, not a big crowd. He didn't give a fuck. Like he just went for it.
Yeah.
Like he just very impressed with Dex Royal. And, he knows the deal. He knows he's kind of on, he's kind of on the bubble, right? Like, but when there's some sort of spot available, I'm going to toss it his way. And because he's a goer, man, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a goer, this guy's he's got drive. I think tons of promoters are missing the boat on this dude. I think he has all the potential to be, a big time guy in 2024. And can we book him every show? No, but something like this popped up. I wanted to mix in some of the new faces, and I thought this is a perfect spot for Dex Royal.
Yeah, that is a 6-way that I'm extremely excited for. Another match that's going to be extremely exciting has a lot of backstory a little bit per se. If you follow AIW President Matt Wadsworth, we got Dominic Guarini, the Bone Collector, and Euthanasia versus Mikey Montgomery, Trey Lamar, and Ultimo Dragon. The story goes back to somewhere around one of the very first AIW shows, second AIW show.
We tried to book Ultimo Dragon for the second AIW show against Matt Cross.
There you go.
And we couldn't make it happen. Dude, we didn't even know what the fuck we were doing. We ended up booking Sonjay Dutt instead at the second AIW show. But Ultimo Dragon was always a guy that was on the bucket list. We did have him in the Mount Carmel era. And I saw that he was kind of, bopping around North America again because he's, sometimes he's in Japan, sometimes he's in Mexico, sometimes he's in the United States. This dude's just all over the map. And I hit up the middleman, and we worked out a deal. And I thought, we could do him and M-Dog here, or, we can mix in a bunch of other guys, that would love to be either teaming with or wrestling against Ultimo Dragon. There's no real story or anything to this, you know what I mean? It's just picked, you know what I mean? Picked 5 other guys, and I put something together. That's really the story behind it, and, I think it's going to be great.
I think Trey and Mikey together as a team is incredible. You put him with a guy like Ultimo Dragon, and that's a 3-person tag that you're only going to see in AIW, in my opinion. Those are just 3 guys that like don't make sense at all, but in a way that makes perfect sense to me, like through AIW, like in just the glass looking whatever that we have in AIW, our universe. To me, those 3 makes perfect sense. And then the Bone Collector with Euthanasia, to me, like that's in the same realm. It's just, to me, that makes perfect sense in AIW. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I was just kind of moving things around up and down, and I went, you know what? Like, I think this is great. You know, I think this is great. A 3-on-3 match, especially at the Shrine.
Hell yeah. Big match here on the card. One of the other ones that was mentioned here, we got Eric Taylor taking on Big Sam Hardway Holloway. These two have had a little bit of go at each other in the tournament. In some of these 4-ways.
You know, we talk about the fallout from JLIT weekend. This is fallout from JLIT weekend. You know, like Sam had the thing all but sewn up, right? And, you know, spoiler alert, it did not go his way. So now Sam's gonna kind of get his shot to rehab that knee and go at it alone, 1-on-1 against Eric Taylor.
It's going to be very interesting to see, you know, what Sam brings. You know, like you said, after having a bit, you know, dinged up a little bit with his knee. You know, for those who didn't get a chance to watch, you know, Sam not injured, but he definitely, you know, was having some problems with his knee, and Eric took advantage of that. And Sam getting a little bit of time to kind of rest it, and you know, come back full strength against Eric, and it's going to be an extremely interesting match. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you were back there. Like, it was, you know, it's no storyline shit. Like, Sam it was injured pretty badly. So, you know, he was in a considerable amount of pain.
Oh, yeah.
Friday night and powered through Saturday. You know, so props to him. You got to give him his, you know, his flowers, as they say. But, you know, he just wasn't 100%.
Well, it's funny because, you know, and I don't want to, you know, tell stories out of school here or speak for Sam or anything or narking on the boys, but it's funny, you know, what they kind of want you to know or don't want you to know about their bodies and how far they'll push it, man, because Sam came in Saturday, and he was not 100%, and he did not want you to know that. You know, he said to me
he was telling me he was fine, and then, you know, I found out that, you know, he was in the hospital Friday night, and, you know, like, you know, all after the fact, you know, trying to, you know, like, I get it, you know, and like, you don't want to miss your opportunities and all that stuff, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily worth it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, hiding it, like, we could have figured something out, you know, but he did not want to miss out on that opportunity.
Right. I mean, I was just going to say, I think it's just a drive that some of the performers have that, you know, they're going to put it all out there, you know, 100% or not. They want to put on a great show for you. They don't want to miss an opportunity, you know, to prove what they got, and they're going to do what they have to do. And it was very interesting to see. You know, he said, "You got any ice?" I go, "Yeah, I got a little bit. How much do you need?" He goes, "Oh, a lot." I go, "Well, have Thorne ask if we can get some from the venue guy. I'm sure they got a ton of ice." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I don't want Thorne to know." I go, "Oh, okay." I go, "That's probably going to be hard to keep from him." And you eventually did find out. Yeah, but it was just so funny. He goes, "I don't want him to know."
Right, yeah, and he didn't. And, you know, I found out later, and, you know, he's since gone and, you know, gotten it better checked out and all that stuff. And it shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't be anything that's keeping him out. You know, I think he's just taking a little bit of time. So he should be good to go on October the 7th.
Well, that's all I have as far as announced matches. I'm not sure.
Yeah, not a big hard sell. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure how much you're going to put out there prior to the match. You know, prior to the show. But
no. We'll let it all unfold. You know, like as it comes. But we got to sell those tickets, right?
Yeah, and like I said, we got a big one brewing for Hell on Earth, so you really want to come out and support for the Boogie Night show, because we need all the help we can get. We may have taken a hit financially with JLIT and all that we spent and all that we did, but that ain't stopping the IW. We are pumping out the hits and the talent, because we got, like you said,
because we got a credit card.
Still, that's we gotta pay it somehow. But the Boogeyman, Zaya Brookside, Ultimo Dragon. I mean, that is a 3-headed monster that is just top notch in my opinion.
See what you did there.
Oh yeah, Juggalo Jason. How was that show, by the way? I don't know if we ever discussed that on the pod at all.
Oh, it was all right. It was just weird. The Violent J solo project or whatever. We were supposed to meet up, and then I was just like, "Hey, brother, I'm here." He's like, "I'm in Toledo still." I'm like, "Dude, doors are open." It's like, "Yeah, I'll be there by the time I got to hit the stage."
Right? Yeah.
It's like, what a fucking pro.
Yeah, Toledo not close.
And he was supposed to appear Friday, and then kind of the same thing. He got pulled off for Riot Fest responsibilities that he was unaware. When he needed to be there and all this stuff, and with the travel from the 3-Headed Monster tour, to Riot Fest, he was trying to work AIW in on Friday night, and the travel just was not lining up to where he could hit all of that, and obviously Riot Fest was, like contractually obligated, top priority, you know what I mean, for him and the record label. Which, they were very apologetic to me once, they said it was on, and then they realized they had, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they didn't really work
maybe
out.
Spoke too soon.
Right. They really didn't work out all of the logistics. So, he'll pop up again one day. Maybe just, we're not probably going to advertise it. So it'll be a surprise.
Just going to hear that music hit one time.
Right. I mean, it was just par for the course with the way things were going with, talent falling off, for the weekend. It was one of those weeks,
It's not all the glitz and glamour of the wrestling world, is it, Thorne?
I mean, I still haven't heard from Psychosis. I'm like, "Hey, brother, what's going on with this?"
Yeah,
still nothing. Just crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know I did see Eddie, addressed kind of the Indies situation, which
after the
obviously
fact,
after the fact, right? But I guess it kind of at least makes you feel a little better, maybe, or at least then the fans can see, like, hey, obviously nothing's ever your fault, obviously, but this guy said, he can't be doing Indies anymore,
and it's just
possibly he got that info about the matches and stuff prior. So, hey, I can't. I'm already maybe a little dinged up. He's been wrestling how many nights a week for how long? You gotta kind of save your body at that point.
Just wish you would have said it before I bought a flight. You know what I mean? That
right.
I could not get a refund on.
Because, that's tough.
I bought it weeks in advance, and there's really no. They do everything they can to not refund you, and
right.
At best, they're just going to give him flight credits, and then it's just like, then if he were to try to make it up, which sounds like he ain't going to be doing that anytime soon,
right.
So that's just, several $100s that we had to eat. I mean, I get it, but, it's just, and it's just, cost of doing business, I guess, so to speak, is what they say. But there was just a lot of costs of doing business expenses.
All in 1 week type deal.
Right. So it was just like, it was just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Let's throw some more gasoline on the fire, and then, like I said earlier, I'm trying to book somebody on a day's notice, essentially. And it's tough. You know what I mean? Like, you have contracts, you have Saturday is the most popular day for shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, do we even replace him? You know what I mean? Like, and I thought, that wouldn't be fair to the fans that had already bought tickets. I wanted to give them somebody from AEW. I tried a lot of things. Josh Bishop had recently wrestled Lance Archer at C4. They developed a bit of a friendship. Lance really liked the match, really liked Josh, was very complimentary towards him. So, I asked Josh, hey, see if he's open. He was open. Him and I started communicating. We worked out a deal. And, it's like you're flying somebody from Dallas, Texas on a day's notice. Like, I don't know how many people deal with air travel, but you can imagine what that cost. When I'm already, in deep from Friday night.
Right. He already lost the flight for Eddie, so it's like a second flight on top of one. You know what I mean?
That's very expensive. And I was just like, I'm booking this, and I go, people are still going to be pissed. And that's no disrespect to Lance Archer. I just know our fan base, has certain expectations, and, they wanted to see Eddie Kingston. And, there's not, like I said, that's no disrespect to anybody. But, when they've convinced themselves that they're going to see Eddie Kingston, who's wrestled here for years and years and years and years, return the conquering hero, so to speak, people were invested in that idea. And, I just couldn't, it didn't happen. So I wanted to give people something, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of those.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of those people that have, put in, and, like Britt offered to do it, but she got booked to be the main event of Collision that week. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, if I didn't have to do this, I would hop on a plane right now. Because she was helping us a lot try to secure people, but people just weren't available. And you gotta give it up to Lance Archer. Like, he came in, he worked so hard, he was fucking super cool.
Yeah. It was a great match.
Did far more than I would have expected him to do on a day's notice. You know what I mean? And that's, to his credit, because he does really like Josh Bishop, and sees something in him. So, as a lot of us do. And, I thought it was super cool, but I was just like, it just kind of sucks when you go, you know what, I'm doing this, and I know I'm going to get fucking bitched at. You know what I mean? And I get it. The customer's always right. I'm not fucking saying that, but it's just like, I want people to kind of put themselves in my seat, and when that you're going to get, you know what I mean? It's just, and I get it. As a wrestling fan, I probably would be upset that Eddie Kingston isn't coming too, but it was 100% out of my hands. We did everything that we could do, much like all of the people that pulled off, hey man, I know people were very upset Shawn Mason was not there over the weekend, but
there were signs proving it.
I know. But he has a medical emergency. Psychosis has a visa issue, and then literally falls off the fucking planet from communicating with me. The Violent J thing, up and down. Eddie Kingston. I don't even know. Did anybody else cancel? I know there was some bad. Oh, then Cardona was like, "Sorry, bro, I got to pull off." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm just fucking with you."
Broski, that fucker. The problem is Eddie, like you said, is a guy that was around here for a long time. It's really almost impossible to replace him because of what you said. It's the conquered hero coming back, to a place where he started and has been around. There's really no one with that story, you know what I mean? You can get someone from AEW, you can get whoever you want, but it's going to be tough. And it's funny because too, it's a real tip of the hat to you. You didn't have to do that. It could have been real easy for you to be like, yeah, sorry, Eddie canceled, sorry. And not booked another big name. I mean, you know what I mean?
I know. I just couldn't do it with a clear conscience, even though we were fucking, we were hemorrhaging money. Yeah,
right. And that's what
to get saying.
A guy. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was saying. When I'm on Priceline and I'm booking this flight, I'm just like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, this is so expensive. People are still going to be mad at me. And it's just like, you're just like doing something that like, and I'm sure like this isn't everybody, but like we actually did like a Chris Hero seminar last week, and like he's like, it's a sickness. He's like, it's a survival mechanism. Like wrestlers only, and wrestling people can only focus on the negativity, and like nobody takes their, you know what I mean? Nobody takes the praise. You know what I mean? Like somebody says something nice, it's just like doesn't stick with you at all. Somebody says something bad, and like it eats every wrestling person alive. Like, and like that's how I was. Like when I was booking this flight, I go, somebody's gonna fucking hate me for this decision. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get yelled at, or somebody's gonna say, hey, this isn't good enough, and like they don't know the amount of money that just went out for this deal. You know what I mean? Like, and just because I'm trying to provide something, you know, like, and Lance Archer is a big
Something
name.
new.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. A big name. I mean,
I just knew that he wasn't going to satisfy people who wanted to see the big return of Eddie Kingston. You know,
right?
like,
Yeah, it was just a really tough spot. Yeah.
I get it. It was an impossible spot. You know what I mean? Like outside of like Kenny Omega showing up or the Young Bucks or something, you know what I mean? Like I don't know who people would have been like, you know what, this is just as good. You know, like it was just one of, like, Eddie Kingston is a tough guy to have to replace.
Especially at AIW, just because of all the backstory. And I think that's what I mean is the hardest part about it. Right. You know, because there was just so much invested and involved with it without even really having to be, you know, it just lives there. It's history of AIW. Right. And there's really there isn't anyone else that you could do. There is no one who, you know, was a fan favorite. This guy, you know, who went out there and fought for years and has been around as long as Eddie has, that went out and did what Eddie did to come back. They just, you know, he's it. And for him to be unavailable is tough.
Yeah, he's a story all on its own. And like, it was, I mean, you know, like it was just eating me up, you know, Saturday. You know, once we learned about it on Friday and, you know, have to scramble and like put all this shit together, you know, like it was fuck. Like, and, you know, I worked out the deal, I got the graphic, and I'm just like, all right, like I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and announce this now. You know what I mean? Like, and just not look at my phone. And it was just, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I hope Eddie makes it up to everybody one day. You know, it's not just us. You know, there's a lot of people that got their shows canceled, and I get it. You know, his body's breaking down, and, you know, he's hurt, and he has to save himself for television. You know, that's who's paying the bills now. Like, it's no, you know what I mean? There's no, whatever, ill will, right? Like, is that the right term? Ill will towards him. It's just, you know, it's just one of those. It's just one of those situations to where it did not. It was not ideal for everything that we were going through.
Yeah, it was just a tough spot to be in, that's for sure. But, you know, enough of the gloom and doom. I feel like we kind of talked that one, you know, as much as we could talk it. We got a few messages in the group chat here in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you want to get in there, where you can ask questions of the podcast, all kinds of AIW inner-working stuff going on in there. We got to get the fantasy football talk going back now that that football season's here. But
we got to get those pop culture Pete's going again too.
Yeah, I should record another one with him next time. You know, on the 7th, I'll pull him aside.
That's one thing we got to get better at. Is like we wanted to do all this stuff at all these shows, and it just hasn't happened. You know, like we got to get.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think there's time at the shows. Sometimes I think we think because we're going to have so much time there, you know, that we'll have time to do X, Y, and Z. But
stuff just goes awry quick.
Things go awry. There just ends up becoming more things. I mean, I did literally every single job this weekend, from putting people's names on their chairs to lighting strobe lights to hitting the fog machine button. I mean, we were doing a million things. So I just feel like maybe there's not time at the shows. Maybe we just have to chunk out a football Sunday and go hang out, watch some football, and rip some pods or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to
get BW Duke or whatever. What Duke W3 is going
Duke
or something,
W3,
and get a few of us over there
on this 85-inch TV.
Right, yeah, the luxurious digs of Duke W3. But one question we did have that I was kind of curious, unfortunately there was a lot of WWE cuts, people not working for WWE anymore, and old Ed wants to know, out of the WWE cuts, who would be your top 4 to book in AIW? He's prefacing this with, like, none of them have, like, a stupid high, like, Ryback type fee.
Oh, I mean, Ziggler, for sure. Dana Brooke, because they have Cleveland ties and, they would probably draw very well. Rick Boogs for Bishop.
Yeah, I think we all want to see Boogs and Bishop team. I mean, that would be incredible.
Or Russell, one of the
other.
Or
Russell, yeah.
And then I'm trying to think. Let me look and see. I can't remember exactly who was released, so let me Google the list.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of releases. That's for sure.
Ooh, this is tough. I would probably say Mustafa Ali.
That would be sweet. Ed, young Ed would love that.
That would be my 4. Honorable mention. Aaliyah, AIW alumni. Jasmine, wrestled her very early career in AIW. So that would be cool for her to come back.
That was Joe Sposto's pick as well.
And then, just for like probably drawability, sounds crazy. Oh, and fuck, Shelton Benjamin's on there too.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was going to say. I would love to see Shelton Benjamin versus Isaiah Broner.
Shelton Benjamin. I was going to say just strictly for like how he was positioned in the company for so many years. Elias had like a big run, kind of.
Dude, the pop Elias would get at AIW, oh man.
But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Ziggler, Dana Brooke, Boogs, and Mustafa Ali.
Nice.
Final answer.
Nice.
Sorry, Brooklyn.
There's another one in there. I don't even know if you want to mention either of these ones.
What do you got?
So Scott Random wants to know, who's more likely to return to AIW, RSP or Matthew Riddle?
It's a tie.
That's what I was gonna say. I think before you even answer the question, I think it would be a neither answer.
Yeah, I don't foresee either.
Yeah, why? What for? What's?
Right. Yeah, I don't think either is necessary.
Yeah. All right, that was kind of all we had for the podcast questions. Like I said, if you would like to join the Patreon, get in there. There's a lot going on in the Discord, some cool stuff. A lot of fans interacting in there. We got all kinds of different channels going on in there. They do a lot of watch-along stuff, whenever there's pay-per-views, stuff like that, or even, the Monday night shows, the Friday night shows. Hey, you live in an area, where you don't got a lot of wrestling buddies to chat with, hit the Discord. It always seems there's somebody in there, chatting something. So check that out. Patreon.com, AIW. Anything else you want to?
Patreon.com/AI Wrestling, I think.
AI Wrestling, excuse me. Anything else?
Nothing really. You know what I mean? We had a really good Chris Hero seminar last week at the school. Very heavily attended, very informative.
Yeah. That was a big photo. There was a lot of people at that.
Yeah, just we're trying to just get some things back on track, That's really the goal. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of get the train back rolling. as of now, only 3 more shows left for the year. So we have not been able to secure a location for the Halloween show. So unless a miracle arises with a bar type venue or something like that, might not be happening this year. It's just the way it's going, I suppose. But we talked to a place, but we just couldn't come to terms. So, I know everyone's kind of looking forward to that potentially. Nothing as of yet. As of now, there's 3 shows left for the year.
Well, with that said, definitely get out to Eventbrite and get your tickets for the October 7th show. Like you said, we got a stacked card. Ultimo Dragon, Zaya Brookside, and the Boogeyman all coming to Boogie Nights. We announced some of the matches here. More will be announced over the coming weeks here, next couple weeks, whatever, next week or so. And get out there and get your tickets because we got some stuff coming down the line here that you're going to enjoy. So we need the doors open.
Yeah, no kidding. Because, man, I'm not kidding. I was just fuck. Maybe it's my time. You know what I mean? Maybe it's time to wrap it up. I don't know. It was a lot of...
we can't have that, fans. We can't have that. Come on. You gotta get out there.
It's just it's just a lot. It was just a lot of things. Just you know what I mean? Piling on at once. It's just bad JLIT, fucking doctor, fucking bad venue call. You know what I mean? It was just boom, 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 boom.
Well, like I said, we got the Tadmore. It's a great venue. We enjoy that. The free parking. The prices are great on drinks and concessions there. They treat us really well there. So get your tickets. Get on Eventbrite. Get out for AIW Boogie Nights, and get these pre-order tickets up. So so John Thorne's not so worried about it going into the show. Otherwise, you're going to hear some doom and gloom next week, folks.
Yeah, because I think we still have front row tickets left for 10/7, so let's get fucking moving on that.
Like I said, you want to be sitting front row when the Boogeyman comes through. You never know; he might feed you some of those worms.
He calls me Big Daddy Thorne on the phone.
Big Daddy Thorne, that's incredible.
Hey, Big Daddy Thorne.
You gotta get out and get your picture taken with that guy. Come on, if you're out there listening, think of that. The Boogeyman. That's
I've heard rumors he just gets off the plane looking like that. I don't know how he gets through fucking security, but
he's got the gimmicks going immediately on the plane.
I heard he gets off the plane painted up.
That's fantastic.
Many people have said this to me, so
I love it. We're gonna have to make whoever picks him up from the airport confirm or deny.
A lot of people, you can't find anybody to go to the fucking airport. A lot of people are like, "Hey, can I be on Boogeyman duty?"
All coming out of the woodwork for Boogeyman, huh?
Yeah, it's come on, dude. Where are you guys at for fucking Chavo Guerrero?
Oh man, speaking of, we didn't say too much about that guy, but
what a great guy.
Coolest dude. Chavo was the man. That guy. If you're a promotion out there thinking about bringing Chavo in, man, he was great. Gave a lot of insight to the wrestlers. He watched a lot of matches, was telling people all kinds of advice. Came and hung out at the after party, man. Chavo was the man.
Yeah, boy, did he hang at the after party. Fuck. He was putting us to shame. You know what I mean? And then he's up in the morning in the gym, at the hotel gym, I hear.
that was so funny, too. I even put that up on my Twitter. I had a picture of Kaplan, Paul London, and Chavo out in the parking lot just discussing potato chips. And to me, it was just such a classic AIW photo that, that's AIW to me, man. In the parking lot, after party, having a few beverages, talking potato chips. 3 guys, from just all different walks of life, man, just coming together. And it was incredible.
It's I know you're trying to wrap it up, but when I was really fuck, this sucked. Then I thought, just randomly, I remembered the Paul London, old parking lot Paul, as I called him all weekend, was posted up in the parking lot at the first stop. He had a glove on as if he was handling a bird of prey, a big fucking bird of prey glove on. And he was drinking something out of a brown paper bag that he brought his own to the park. He brought his own drink to the parking lot.
Yeah.
And he just had this bird of prey glove on, and he's just telling stories out there, checking people for knives and stuff.
Oh, it was so great.
And
some of us spent more time in the parking lot than we did inside a First Stop.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, that was so funny to me. Like, I laughed out loud because I was like, no explanation why, or like any comment on why he's wearing this bird of prey glove on one of his hands. It was just like,
yeah,
just totally normal for Paul London to be doing.
Like, where did he have it too? Like, that's the thing. He just all of a sudden he had it on. Like, it was just so great. Paul London is one of my favorite people of all time. He's somebody who's came into AIW as of late, and we've had him back a handful of times. And every single time, I love hanging out with Paul. That's all I want to do when he's in town. I just want to hang out with Paul London, man. He rules.
Yeah, but I mean, shout out to Chavo, shout out to Alec Price. You know, all the guests that came in. Were really great.
It's funny because you almost think of Prize now as like a regular roster member. He's here just so often, but yeah, I mean, the kid is everywhere. He's the best. He hangs out. You know, if that's somebody, you know, you want to spend some time with, that Alex always hanging around the after parties. Come on out, man, because that dude's a blast. He rules. Always got stories. You know, he's cool dude.
Yeah, I mean, but Chavo was, you know, really like just the man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he's another one of those guys, man. He bought a round of shots. Like a guy like that, like he could go into any town and get, you know, drinks bought for him all night. He bought a round of shot for us and the boys. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have to do that, but he did it without question. You know, it was incredible. Dude's an incredible guy.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing but positive things to say.
Yeah, Chavo was the man. Well, I guess we could end on that. The high praises of Chavo Guerrero, that's for sure. For me, for AIW, for Chavo, for Parking Lot Paul. We'll see you next time on The Card Is Going to Change. We'll see you next week. Thanks.